This one's nice and simple, but it shows something very interesting about video sync, which is a part of that integration with live. I'll get to that in just a second. So we have squares. It's just one channel, and it's called squares because the instrument on this channel is called squares. So this is a MIDI channel. We have an instrument starting here, and then we have a couple of video effects living behind it. So what does squares do? Well, as you might guess, it generates squares. So let me just press play here for a second. And we get 2 squares. Why do we get 2 squares? Well, we have a MIDI clip, which is just a 1-bar loop, as you can see. It has 2 little notes in here, one on a C3 and one on a D3. So it skips the black notes, the C sharp and the D sharp here. But if I would trigger those, you would see 2 little squares on the right side of the screen. Yay, so we have 4 little happy squares here. Okay, why 4? Well, we have a grid that we can set here. So we have 2 columns right now and 2 rows. We can extend that, of course, to, let's say, 4 by 4 or whatever. But now I'm only getting these 2 squares at the top of the screen because we have a grid of 16 now. So that means that we now have 16 notes that we can use to trigger these different squares, as you can see. So you can draw whatever pattern you like and make a pattern with squares. Wow. Okay, moving on from that, you can see that it has a little opacity section. I'm going to make it more interesting in a second. The opacity section, so we have a fade out time of 1B, so that means a beat. So of course, in that sense, it's linked to the tempo of the project. So it takes 1 beat to fade out after every note ends. Then there's a little size section that lets me like grow these squares every time a note hits and also shrink after a little while. But that's not that interesting. I'm just going to stick to my little 2x2 grid right here. Okay, so then what does this next effect do? Oh no, wait, there's one thing I skipped, and that's the width and the height of these little squares. It's currently 25%, so if I set it to 100, then you can see that it's actually just 4/4 of the screen that it's filling. Okay, so turning it back to 25%, and we get our little squares again. So then a transform, which is just used to reposition the image, it moves it slightly to the left here with this first parameter. So now it hugs the side of the screen. And then we have a color control, which, as you know, now turns all bright pixels into pink. It doesn't do anything else, that's just it. It adds a color to it. So this is a way you can colorize those white squares.